Finance Committee meeting. Motion to approve previous minutes. Ray, second. Mr. Cross, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. I'm just going to take the sheriff out of order. Number 15, accepting a donation on the sheriff's budget. The sheriff is going to give us an update on what we need to do and what he's looking to do with it. Sheriff, if you can briefly just give us an outline.
First of all, I apologize for wasting a few people's time today. We kind of got ahead of ourselves. But basically, in the middle of last year, I entered into some negotiations with one of our vendors. Basically, jail commissions were being eliminated by FCC regulation. So in doing so, we got into some talk back and forth about making a one-time fee, paying the county, more of a sponsorship type thing. Our goal all along has been to dedicate this towards basically the youth programs that we want to do, try to get into some diversion activities. So needless to say, we got $1.5 million. We have check in hand as of last week, which has been turned over since. That is in one of our lines at the jail. What we'd like to do at this point is I will be coming over with a RLA request to move over $375,000. We figure if we did this over the course of the next 4 years, we'd be able to show some sustainability. We have, we have a lot of, with credit to my staff, we have a lot of great progressive programs at that jail that's lowering recidivism rates throughout the county. And right now, our inmate population is down to around 568 to 575. It fluctuates 10, 15 a day, depending on releases and new additions. So we've shown that we can clearly make a difference. With that, I'd like to shift some of our efforts and some of our resources to trying to get the kids before they mess up and end up in our jail. So we've done good, I think, and we have some work to go as far as keeping them out and keep them from coming back. But I think if we target some of our youth and really push some of the prevention, some of the awareness, some of the diversion tactics that are out there with our kids, with programs throughout the entire county, I think we can truly make a difference, and I think it's a worthwhile investment. So at that point, I would respectfully request a table tonight until we can shift over, have the proper lines ready to move the money into.
Yeah. Any questions for the sheriff?
Sheriff, this was money you had to negotiate. They didn't have to give it to you?
Oh, no, they were under no obligation whatsoever. The FCC had done away with commissions, so we had asked that we were under no obligation to really provide phones. It's the humane thing to do in 2016. But we were able to go back and forth and kind of put the spiel on them that, listen, you guys make a lot of money off of people that are committed to the correctional facility. Let's try to see if we can prevent people from being committed. And that's what we want this money for.
And this $1.5 million, what happens when it runs out? You'll not have funding for the youth program.
I think the goal between the county executive, the district attorney, hopefully the legislators, as well as the majority leader, is to try to go out and to seek private partnerships as well, to show that, look, if we invest in our future, I really think we can truly make a difference. And there's some programs out there, some people are doing things on their own, but I think if we show a collaborative effort and true dedication with some resources, I think we can make the difference. I mean, we've made quite a difference in our county jail by just adding some programs at absolutely no cost to the taxpayers. This is kind of it's kind of found money. I mean, I know it's taxpayer money, but it's still kind of found money. And I think that if we break this down and get 4 years of programs over the course of the next few years, we can show that we can make a difference and hopefully get some other partners involved for future sustainability.
Any other questions?
I just want to point out, you're going to have the budget transfers over to us very shortly, and we could go forward with a post-public forum on May 9th, which would have the transfers, show the budget transfers, so we can move this program forward, correct?
I'll have the transfer over tomorrow morning.
Then we can move the program forward at
Yes.
the May meetings.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll motion to table it tonight for a post-public forum at the meeting, and then Sheriff will have everything in order, and we can move on it on May's meeting.
Perfect.
Is that okay? Motion?
Yes.
All right. Second? Rick?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much, Sheriff.
Thank you for your time.
Number one, it's going to be tabled at the request of the sponsor. Number two, requesting information services, we're going to table that.
Correct.
You gave me information, so we're going to table that? That's request of the sponsor. Number three is the local law of the County of Albany prohibiting sale of cigarettes, tobacco, liquid electronic cigarettes to minors and young adults. This came out of the Health Committee unanimous. Are there any questions? Sponsor is here, right?
Motion move.
Motion to move it, second.
Second.
Rick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I have to abstain.
Yes. Abstain?
He's abstaining.
Abstain,
I have to
okay.
abstain.
Yes, he has potential
Thank you.
conflict.
What's that?
701.
Seven.
It's one abstention, 7 in favor.
Number 4, law establishing the energy loan program, local law D.
This is one that was a public hearing, it's been done 2 months ago, I believe. And last month it was tabled because there were some minor changes that the sponsor wanted to make. The changes have been made to the local law. They concerned mostly that originally it was referring to chapters because it's been part of a state law. Now it's references our local laws and our various chapters and parts of the local law. Additionally, as part of this, there's, let me send some of these down. There's another agreement that's going to be a component of this with the Energy Investment Corporation that we're going to authorize at the same time as this local law goes to the floor of the legislature. And I believe that, Doug, is that everything?
Yes.
Thank you.
I urge everybody to move this favorably.
Is this incorporated into the local law?
No,
No.
it's piece, it's separate, but it's actually flows from the local law. The local law actually wouldn't make much sense if we didn't have a way to do this.
All right.
Any questions for Doug on the local law from anyone?
Wait, so can I just, for clarification,
Sure.
so we will be voting on this as well as the local law?
Yeah, I think, you're just voting tonight to move these both out to the floor. They'll both be separate resolutions. One will be a local law and one will be a resolution on the final agenda.
Right.
They're two different things. They're
No,
two parts of the same thing. One's a local law and one's an agreement.
Any other questions? Motion to move it? Mike, second. Rick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Number 5 is being tabled, requested sponsor. Number 6 is some administrative adjustments that we had last month that were corrected this month. Are any questions for the committee on this? Motion to move it? Mike, second. Rick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Number 7, authorizing a lease agreement with Sojourn. This is a program we've been all supportive. Sojourn needs this lease agreement so that they can continue and go out and get funding for the project.
So one question, I support, going with the lease agreement. I just want to make sure that when the lease agreement's actually executed, they'll come back to us.
Yes, it does. We'll be back to vote on it.
Okay.
I have a question also.
Well, be careful on
Okay.
it. We will get a copy of the lease agreement when it's negotiated, but we won't approve again the actual lease agreement, no. Right now, you're authorizing them to enter into a lease agreement for a period of time. That's what correct? Am I correct?
That's correct.
And the terms are generally laid out in that.
That's correct. Yeah, it's like, it's basically, it's a contract authorization, except in this case, the contract is a lease. So you're authorizing us to enter into that lease agreement.
I guess what I was concerned about, Mike, is that there's nothing in here about, and maybe it's a little bizarre, but subleasing or something. What happens if they decide to not do it for social? I mean, there's no lease agreement attached here.
So that would necessarily, so we have to go through the general permitting process with the locality. In this case, we're going through the process, and I can elaborate on the schedule related to that,
No, we
for
don't-
zoning and all those things.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to stick with Soldier because the project is going to be approved as a whole with seeker and everything conceptually. There's no way for it to be given away to another person without redoing the whole process.
And in reality, our law office does not allow subleases on any of the leases that we do with our property.
Right, there's also that as well.
We do not authorize subleases, or assignments for that matter, unless they come back here.
I had specifically asked where the seeker was for this particular project, and I was told that this was going to be,
Members ask questions.
excuse me?
I-
No, it was,
That's a good question.
I'm counsel to,
I understand that, but I mean,
well,
I-
so I,
members should be asking questions, not council.
but, well, my question was,
You ask- you
I was
have-
told
you
that it
ask
was gonna be
your member.
I was told it was gonna be tabled tonight by the sponsor because the secret hasn't been completed.
The sponsor said they were going to table it?
That's correct.
We certainly would entertain the table, that's fine. If folks would like to vote on it, that's fine as well. To your question, Arnis, we can't deliver a seeker right now because we need to complete the planning process in town of Colony.
They are.
That will necessarily happen, I have the schedule right here. That will allow us to issue our seeker as well. So it's kind of a domino effect, and when we're kind of balancing the schedule. All those things we will have by the time you guys go for a final vote.
Executive's office. Let's just make a motion to table it then.
A motion table, we'll table it. Motion table, Mike, second, Rick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Authorizing agreement with SUNY Center of Human Services Research, Human Service Evaluations for several county departments. It's a SUNY Albany study being done. Any questions?
Yeah, Mike, what can we expect from that 40 grand?
So, real quick, we're going to enter an agreement with SUNY to have a big picture, full analysis of all of our human services departments. We've had small analysis done in the past related specifically to each department, but our positive experience with things like the core initiative and a new data-driven approach have really suggested that we should be having a big picture view of how all of our departments are doing in providing their services. The hope, or the goal, is to have a report that does a full analysis of all of our departments, how they work together, how they provide their services, how effective they are providing their services, and we would like to really get to the end goal of creating what we call an equity agenda. This is something that's been used in other parts of the country to great success, and what it really will do is kind of begin to change the culture within our departments. We have very productive workforce. They're very good at processing applications and things like that, but what we really want to do is create a single door type environment where an individual that has mental health issues, social services needs, and everything else can walk into any of our departments and can be directed to the correct place so that in the long run, we're providing more services more effectively with the ultimate goal of providing more effective service as well as reducing the fiscal stress on county residents.
Anybody else? Mr. Cross?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike, so we're contracting with SUNY
Yes,
for this. They will actually do the work.
that's correct.
Was there anything about this in the budget that we just adopted?
No.
Any particular reason? This is something that just came up?
Yes, correct. So, sorry, Mr. Chairman, I'll keep this brief. So we hold policy meetings among executive departments, okay? And there was one time where a new dean from the Human Services section of SUNY came in, and through those conversations, that's where this came from. We're spreading it evenly among departments according to the number of employees, because each department, depending on size, is going to be harder to do the analysis of and the examination. So we were able to hit each department as little as possible and spread the financial burden so that it wouldn't be too much for any one department.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Right?
I think I found my answer here, Mike, but at first I thought under the scope of services, it sounded almost like what the controller should be doing. But then it looks like you're doing, this is more about efficiencies between departments, is that correct?
Right, I would say that, you know, we aren't focusing only on fiscal. We're really going big picture here.
Yeah.
The core initiative has been massively successful, and we anticipate that it's going to get even more so. But that's only 4 departments, only 2 of which are within the county. So this is a coordinated effort among all of our departments, and it's not just about you know, how we spend our money and things of that nature. It's about how effective are we at actually effectuating change on our clients. You know, and the reality is that it's about breaking the cycle of poverty and reducing the burden on our departments themselves. And ultimately, we want our departments to be able to come to you folks and say, we have made it possible for this number of families, individuals to no longer be dependent on county resources.
Anybody else? Motion to move it?
Motion moved.
Ray, second. Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Number 9, authorizing advance for 330 Ontario Street in the Cohoes for Cohoes Local Development Corporation. This will complete the block in Cohoes that they're redeveloping for housing.
Yep.
Any questions? Motion move it. Mike, second. Ray, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Number 10 is authorizing advance of 8.5 8A Fittingers Lane in the town of Colony. The abutting property owner wants to buy this property, so we've always supported that. Any more questions on that? Motion to move it. Mike, second. Mr. Kraus, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Number 11 is authorized conveyance 521 Clinton Avenue in the city of Albany to the Albany County Land Bank. Any questions? Motion to move it. Ray, second. Rick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Number 12, authorizing a refund taxes in the city of Albany. This is the veteran exemption that didn't get put in that the person is entitled to. Motion by Ray, second. Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. 13 is an assessment of rolls in the city of Albany, correction. This is a senior citizen exemption that didn't get, that the person is entitled to that didn't receive. Motion approved. Ray, second. Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you. Number 14 is a state mandate salary increase for district attorney and amending the 2016 district attorney's budget. So this is tied to the judges' race, the judges' salaries that they all got. State mandated law that we give the district attorney his increase by law, and there's really nothing we can do. Motion by Paul, second.
Question, Mr. Chairman. I'd like some clarity on why we're voting on this if in fact we have to do it. In other words, we really don't have enough.
We have to adjust our budget for it.
What would happen if we voted no?
You can vote no, that's
But
fine.
in other words, collectively, if we voted no.
But we're not gonna vote collectively.
I mean,
We support the county, the DA.
Well, I support the DA too, but I don't agree with the level of salary increase, particularly when someone else is getting 2%.
Okay.
But I wanted to know if this legislature voted it down, what would be the impact of that?
I don't speak in hyperbole, I don't know.
Why, does council have an opinion on that?
Yeah, the council has an opinion that if we got sued, not only would we have to pay his salary, we'd get hit with expenses and charges because there's no basis for defending against it.
All right, well, I'll vote for it, but I want it on the record that I don't think the state should be telling us what we have to pay our DA.
Well, I agree.
The state tells us a lot,
Yeah,
most of the things we do are mandated.
Yeah, the state tells us we have to pay 25% Medicaid reimbursement, but I don't like that either.
Good, when you should speak out against it.
But, so motion to approve the DA's raise. Mike, second. Rick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Accepting 15 we did. 16 is a bond resolution of 1.3 million for business, for building improvements, elevators at the Times Union Center, fire alarm systems. It's in a capital plan, so motion to approve. Mike, second. Rick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. 17 is a bond resolution for $625,000 for improvements of various county facilities. This also is in a capital plan. It's for carpet, painting in different buildings, elevator, garage, concrete work at the Times Union Center garage. That's all desperately needed. So motion to move. Ray, second. Mike, all in favor?
I have questions.
Opposed?
Question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been visiting a lot of different departments, and what surprises me is the large variance in how well various offices are equipped, and I'm wondering, is there a plan to upgrade, is there a collective plan to upgrade our facilities, or?
Yes.
Kind of speak to that if you would.
Yes, general services, we take on certain projects that need to be done. These various facilities here, we do the upgrading of the floors. We redo the floors here. Other buildings, the infrastructure in the other buildings are getting older, so we'd like to do the carpets, do painting in there. Sometimes it's more structural repairs that may need to be done, but it's always a progressive project that we go through on a need basis.
Yeah, because I know even this building, I noticed there's a pretty big difference. I was going floor to floor today because the press conference got canceled. But it's, is there a master plan that says this, we're gonna do this or that, or how do you actually determine that?
We do,
This through the capital plan is how we do it, you
Based
know.
on what
Based on
determines
need, correct.
The carpet's ratty, that's a
Right,
need.
and those needs could change from month to month, day to day, you know. If we have a boiler system that may go out, we may have to use it for a boiler system. And that would push the plan down for the other renovations, you know, I want to say beautification renovations that we'd like to do, you know, to make it a more,
Dave, we have a 5-year plan, basically, with a whole bunch of improvements that we're going to do over the next 5 years. And what Dave is saying, that as things come up, certain things get pushed back. But there is a 5-year plan to rehabilitate various county facilities. It's in the capital plan.
Take a look at it, it's in the budget.
It's in the back of the book.
Motion adjourned, Ray, second, Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Yes.